Murder is rather poggers, so that's why Mario decided to go on a murderous rampage on the entirety of Bowser's army, and everything else he can find, honestly. The rules are simple. Everything that's living has to die. Be a friend or foe, it has to die. Well, that covers all the rules. Now let's get into 1-1. If you said 1-1 was possible, then congratulations, because you are correct, my dear viewer. As yes, it's just Goombas. I don't even need to explain, let's just move on to the next level. Now on to 1-2. So, technically the challenge does end here for speaking in beating the game in a lateral way. But technically the level is possible if you use the golden flower. So, whilst the challenge would end here if you are trying to beat the game from start to end while doing a genocide, this level is possible with a golden flower. So it's both possible and impossible. Let's just roll with that. 1-3 is basically all infantry spawning enemies, so I don't really care about this level. As a matter of fact, the only things I do care about in this level are the Koopas. Now, you won't believe me when I say this, but 1-Fortress will need me to come back later with the goddamn golden flower because dry bones. But, you know, stomping Resdor was pretty easy, but that's besides the point. Let's just move on to the next level. Yeah, I should say I did the secret exit in 1-Fortress, so, we're kind of in World Mushroom now, but, so, going into 1-Mushroom, we use the Fire Flower and we murder everything. Then I suffered through this stupid water level in 2-Mushroom that was pretty easy but annoying. Then in Mushroom A, we have this stupid dry bones again. Now I know I could have bought the golden flower now, but I decided to save all those levels for the end. So, yeah. Also, before anyone says, I'm just gonna get out of the way now. Before anyone says, oh, just die a bunch of times so you get the golden leaf, or I didn't want it, because I wanted to beat, because I was 100%ing it, so I didn't want to have the golden Tanuki suit. So yeah, you could do this all faster with it, but for this challenge I didn't use it. But it is way easier with it, if you're wondering. Like, if you care enough, then like, Mushroom Tree was possible, but like, do you really care? Well, of course you do, you're watching this video. The Ghost House is possible, however, but I will discuss the Ghost Houses later when it becomes relevant, so you have an incentive to watch this video further. Love you all. In Mushroom Castle, and also I only now realized that I've been saying the levels wrong. Will I change it? No. But in the castle, Mushroom Castle, the balls do most of the work killing everything, so we're just gonna skip this level anyways. Oh yeah, and also I did beat the shit out of a child. Now, in World 3. 3-1 was filled with mostly cheap jeeps, which I'm pretty sure infantry spawned, don't fact check me. So yeah, that level was possible. In 3-2, however, I was actually blessed with the golden flower, so this level was made actually bearable. But in the meantime, 3-8 did tell me to go fuck myself. So it's not possible, although maybe with 2 players it would be, but I don't know. The water pushes you too fast. Here, who do I look like, a pass? 3-3 was, how do I say this correctly? There was no difference between playing this normally and in the Genocide Challenge, so we can move on to 3-Fortress. In 3-Fortress, I was actually very lucky to have a bunch of suicide bombers trying to attack me. So, all the bombers that tried to attack me just died because they blew themselves up as soon as they hit a wall. Rest in peace, fish bones, not really. Originally, like an idiot, I was planning on using the Koopa shells to kill the Wigglers in 3-4, but then I found out I can just pimp smack them with my tail, so I just went around pimp smacking a bunch of Wigglers, you know how it is. In 3-Ghost House, as you can see, I let out my frustrations on the boos, but I was being too harsh on the boos, because as you'll see later, there's actually another thing I should have been way harsher to. We'll get to that in a minute, but just know, for now, this one's not possible, and it won't be possible ever. So keep watching to understand why. Then for some reason, midway through World 3, I decided to go back to do a little detour in World 1. So, 1-4 was pretty simple, it was just regular enemies that we murdered. And then in 1-5, we actually decided to make some fish and chips, so we cooked a bunch of fish. 1-A had this little annoying Koopa Troopa that I need to come back later with the gold flower, which I do. But the rest of the level was pretty easy because I had the fire flower, so you know. Homicide. Lay epic. Now, you may not believe me when I say this, but I will have to come back to this level later when I get the golden flower. Then we beat up a child. Now that we are in 2-1, I am proud to announce that 2-1 is possible, mainly due to the fact that, for one, it's all just Piranha Plants, Goombas, and Koopas, but also we get the golden flower. 2-2 is a woozy, for the very simple reason that this level has so many damn paths that, I don't know, I think I did it. I mean, I killed all the Hammer Bros and Boomerang Bros and Koopas and whatnot. I don't know, possible. 2-3 is pretty easy up until the part with the, like, 50 Piranha Plants, which that part would just require the golden flower. But other than that, it was just pretty easy killing all the Pokies and Spinies. But now on to 2-A, the level with the swings and the platforms that move and the fuck ton of fuzzies. Now, there's an interesting with this thing with the level, as the most of it is possible. It just requires me to use the Tanuki leaf just to fly around, pimp smack the fuzzies, and then fly back to safety, run back. It's very time consuming, but for the most part it's possible up until the final part with like 50 fuzzies, where you probably would need either the golden leaf, or you would need to have 2 players to help you out so you can shoot fireballs at all the fuzzies. Now, personally, I'm just gonna say this level is possible because it most likely is, but nah, let's just put this in like a 50-50 possible, because I don't have 2 players to test this out, obviously. 2-Fortress, one word, golden flower. Boolossus makes, how do I say this, 2-Ghost House impossible. Yeah, we can't kill Boolossus no matter what, so impossible. 2-4 was rather fun, as it's the temple level, so it was rather fun just going around smacking all the fire snakes, smacking all the Pokies, and smacking everything else. But yeah, it was possible. 2-5 is possible with the golden flower because of just one annoying stupid ass chain chomp just sitting down there, not allowing me to jump on its pole like an annoying little bitch. Or is it a male? I don't know. Is that chain chomp a female or a male? Because I don't know if to call it a bitch. Let's just move on before we get into the anatomical difference between chain chomps. And finally, in 2-Castle, most enemies kill themselves here. So, yeah. We beat up a child. So, as we can see, basically every level here is possible besides one I didn't complete, and 2-Ghost House. So let's just move on to World 3, finishing it. For some unknown reason to myself at this moment, I did 3-B. It was not possible. Thanks for asking. Then, we're gonna take the cannon to World Flower, because apparently I just do not like World 3. So, now World Flower. In Flower-1, I start playing like a complete idiot, but somehow I don't get punished for my hubris, so we just genocide everything, and everything somehow works out fine. Leading us straight to Flower Ghost House, which is impossible because of the Big Boo, but you know how it is, we're gonna move on anyways. But in 3-Ghost House, we do the secret exit, because if it never spawns in, it never exists, and therefore, we never could have killed it. Flower-B was basically all infantry respawning enemies because Lakitu and Spiny Beetle, so this level is impossible. And same story in Flower-Castle, where everything is just infantry respawning enemies. So we stomp on a child that will allow us to move on. In World 5, starting with 5-1, we just send a bunch of Angel Koopas down to the pits of hell where they belong. And we beat the level because it's possible. 5-2, infantry respawning enemies because of Lakitus. 5-3, I'm gonna be real. I have no idea what goes on in this level half the time. There's too many damn branching paths. This level's possible. I don't care, it's possible. In 5-Fortress, we can actually take a little bit of a break. Mainly for the fact that the lava kills everything, so I don't have to kill shit here. Now on to 5-4, and this level has like 5 Koopas in it maybe, so yeah, it's possible. We can honestly skip by 5-5, mainly due to the fact that it's basically all bullet bills, which are infinitely respawning, you know how it is. 5-6 had far too many enemies, but it was possible seeing how I could kill them all with just the fire flower because they were all like piranha plants and goombas. Although this one part in the underground was annoying but possible because they're still piranha plants. And for 5-castle, guess what I'm gonna say? We're gonna have to come back here later with the golden flower so we can kill everything, and I'm doing this at the end because I don't want to waste time going into houses to get the golden flower because it'll be slow and efficient and it's faster to do everything at the end. So yeah, let's move on to World 6 now. So naturally, I returned to 5-castle where now with the help of a golden flower, I kill literally everything. So we can say that this level is possible. And I also do go back to 1-8, so I can actually kill the Koopa Troopa. But now we're going to move on to 6-1, which was fairly easy, mainly due to the fact that there's a lot of Meteoroids doing most of the work for me. But other than that, the level was possible. Here is a ghost house. We're going to move on by, because you know what I'm going to say. 6-2 has this skeleton platform, which I don't know if it counts as a living thing. But even if it does, we could always just take the secret exit in 6-Ghost House. So either way, we can just move on. But we're just going to pretend that it's not a living thing. Because that's what's in the video timeline. 6-3. Now, how would I say this is possible? Because it's mostly just Hammer Bros and Koopas. 6-B, however, is also possible due to the fact that it's basically all infantry respawning enemies along with Flame Chomps, which are infantry respawning. Say it with me, guys and gals, 6-Fortress requires the golden flower. Then in 6-4... No, it cannot be! No! Why, peepas? Why? Every other time they appeared, we could ignore them. Like, for example, in World 3, which we forgot about entirely because fuck World 3. But now, here, 6-4, they're everywhere and we cannot progress any further. Meaning, it is impossible to do a new Super Mario Bros. 2 Genocide Run. Meaning that the challenge altogether ends here. In 6-4. Well, there are still other levels in this game, so like usual, let's just go check out everything else. 6-5 has a lot of balls, but not a lot of enemies. So, let's just ignore it so we can get on to 6-Castle. Y'all even care anymore? It's like, you know what I'm gonna say. We need to use the golden flower. It's not funny anymore, game. Stop making me use the golden flower every fucking level. Alright, but at the end, yeah, you know the deal. Bowser steals our XP, then we do some platforming, then we press the switch and Bowser, I don't know, goes to meet his ancestors. I don't know. Let's just move on to World 9 now. But it also turns out I was lying, because I actually decided to go kill a bunch of stuff with the golden flower, specifically in 6-Ghost House. Alright, now we can move on to World 9. Psych! We're back in World 3. Alright, so, we beat 3-Ghost House, which was impossible, thanks for asking, as you all heard me say before, like 10 minutes ago. But in 3-5, we just have to burn a bunch of bloopers, those damn squid things. So yeah, after we make some calamari, we can conclude that this level is indeed possible. And 3-Castle requires me to use the golden flower in World 4. And what the funny thing about World 4 is that we have to kill a bunch of babies in 4-1. And a bunch of Koopa Troopas, but other than that, the level was possible. 4-8, as you know, has a bunch of infantry respawning Goombas. And if you didn't know that, write that down, because you'll be tested on it later. Now, from now on, I'm just going to stop covering castle and fortresses unless I don't have to say golden flower, because you already know I'm going to say it. But this level is also the one that you would need the golden Tanuki leaf to beat because of the skeleton piranha plants in the final room. So that's about the only special thing I can say about this level. Alright, moving on. 4-3 is a welcome change to the formula, as we can just burn a bunch of stuff with the fire flower, and yeah, that's about it. We can move on now. And you know, 4-4 was also pretty easy to do. There wasn't much enemies, we just had to throw a bunch of stuff at other stuff, and yeah, it was fine. we can move on to 4-5 now. 4-5 was an underwater level, so as you know, this probably took me about 3.5 working days, but after that, we are able to beat this level. Gold flower and child beating. Alright, now we can get on to World 9, also known as Star World, or also known as who cares what the hell it's called. So, Star-1 is possible due to the fact that it's basically only Goombas and Koopas. Alright, now we're going to be jumping around the place, so get ready folks at home, because we're going to be going from world to world now. Like, for example, now, 2-B. The only thing I could kill on this stage were the Pokies, because the Bob-Bombs instantly respawned. Now, in 4-Ghost House, it's not possible due to the fact that there's booze in the walls. Yeah, you know when people say that they're in your walls? Well, this time the booze actually mean it. They're in your walls. I'm telling you, I'm not going crazy. They're in the walls. 4-2 is the same old with a bunch of piranha plants, Koopas, and Goombas. So, that means that this level is possible. 4-B has my arch nemesis, also known as these fucking ants. But don't worry, we'll kill them later, these stupid balls of electricity. And 4-C was pretty easy to beat, because it was mostly fuzzy, so I was able just to run around the fire flower, and eventually burn them all to death. Back in World Mushroom, Mushroom B took an annoyingly long amount of time, because sending the Koopas to hell took too long, and this would have been definitely easier with the golden flower, but I did it with only using the Tanuki leaf, so that means I'm good at this game. There's honestly no difference between playing Flower 2 normally and playing Flower 2 in a Genocide Run, because you'll just be jumping on them anyway, so we can move on to Flower Tree. And Flower Tree was not a fun level. The first part of the level is easy. The only hard part is the last part, with all the goddamn flying Koopas just flying around in a circle, meaning that I'm gonna need to use a Tanuki leaf to fly over, drop them to hell, fly back, and then repeat the process. So I don't do it in these few attempts, but I do it later. And Flower A was annoying, but it was evidently possible to beat. Did I say 5-Ghost House? What I actually meant is Gold Flower. But 5-A is a welcome surprise with how simple it was to do. Because it was pretty easy to beat. Because there was only Koopas here, which I was able to farm out coins with, and also kill them all. But besides murder, we can move on. Oh, also, fun fact, I beat 5-6 normally now. Before we continue onward to the next level, I should now test use. Now, what was in 4-A? That was infantry respawning. If you said Goombas, you'd be correct. Congratulations for those who guessed it. And if you guessed correctly, a gold medal will be personally shipped to your door in about 2 business days. Now let's continue onwards to your regularly scheduled MP Hussar. In 6-A, for one, the lava does all the work for me, so I don't have to kill anything. But even if I did have to kill them because Drybone survived lava, this level would be possible with a gold flower, but I'm just gonna say the lava does all the work for me because I don't think I actually did this level with the gold flower. So yeah, the lava kills everything for me. Let's just ignore all this. The only noteworthy aspect of Star-2 was that there was Koopas to kill, but other than that, it was a pretty simple level. And 5-3, my new favorite level. Now you may be wondering, why MP Hussar? Why is this your favorite level? Well, for a simple reason. I get a gold flower, and I get to murder Peepas. So this is my revenge for them ruining this challenge. But other than me genociding every single Peepa I saw, the other enemies like Thwomps and Skeleton Fish were easy to kill. 5-4 was more annoying than anything because of the Porky Puffer, but like, we still beat it. So yeah, it's possible. 5-5, however, has like 2 Koopas and a Lakitu. That's about it. Then I go back to Flower-3 so I can finally kill those stupid Koopas that were flying and ruining my day earlier. So yeah, 5-3 was possible. And guess what Star-6 requires? My good old friend, the gold flower. For the fish bones in the walls, because including with the booze, the fish bones are also in my walls. I'm not crazy, I swear, fish bones are in my walls, please help! Do you guys want to know a fun fact about Star-7? It requires me to use the gold flower so I can kill the Poto Boots. Yeah, let's just move on to Stardash Castle now, which just happens to have no enemies. So, yeah, Stardash Castle literally has nothing for me to kill besides Bowser. Which he obviously dies because it's Bowser. Like earlier mentioned, because I like the brain power to process anything, 3-B is still impossible. I don't know why I went back to do it. Okay, I was doing for 100%, so obviously that's why I went back to do it. And finally, going back to Flower-B, it is possible because I used the golden flower. Okay, I was lying earlier, I'm sorry. I didn't beat this with the Tanuki leaf, I beat it with the gold flower, sorry. But now, with every single level beaten, I can confirm that it is impossible to beat New Super Mario Bros. 2 while doing a genocide run. With the 5 levels that are impossible being 2-Ghost House, 3-A, 3-B, 3-Ghost House, and most importantly, 6-4. We lost this challenge because of Peepas. Unfortunately. But, other than that, if you like what you saw, make sure to like and subscribe, and if not, tell me why in the comments. And other than that, I'll see y'all later.